Alrighty guys, I just wanted to hop on here quickly and firstly just apologise. I know I've not been posting much lately. I've had some health issues unfortunately over the past week. I started having some of the same symptoms that I had in November when I had my pulmonary embolism. So I've been sort of back and forth at the hospital dealing with that. And then obviously just when I've not been at the hospital, trying to not spiral and not panic too much. But it's been quite a hard place to sit, not knowing what's going on. And then I think I've definitely been at the height of just being back to being too scared to sleep again and just being quite terrified of everything. So that it's been quite a difficult time to say the least. So I've obviously not posted, but it did really make me question how you get influencers at the first thing when stuff happens is that they get oh my god, hi, speak. They grab the camera because it was the last thing on my mind to come and to talk or like to post a video or like it was just the last thing on my mind. Like I couldn't even fathom. Like I could hardly even talk to my partner about it, never mind anything. Like I didn't even want to acknowledge it in my own life, never mind on here. I don't know if that just makes me like the worst person to be on the internet ever, but like the thought of giving like pure hour to hour updates was the worst thing on my mind. But so I've been back and forth at the hospital over the past like 3-4 days. And I've been at I forgot the name of the unit, but it's like it's like same day urgent care, something similar to like A&E, but you go through it via like a referral, so it's a bit quicker than A&E, and they already know like what's been going on, so you get seen a bit quicker. It's a bit more personal, which is decent. Similar nurses you see, so it's not too bad. It was actually the same nurses that dealt with me in November that dealt with me this time around as well, so that was always a plus. But I went in for some testing, couldn't get them all done, came back, went back in, which I was grateful that I could come back home and like get a sleep and wasn't having to sit in the chairs overnight. But it just meant that I was getting cannulas, so in and out and in and out, which my arms are in bits, but it is what it is. I can't really do much about that. But I'm just so thankful that everything's all sorted. But when we'd went in, when you have a clot anywhere in your body, you'll get a test done called a D-dimer. And basically anything under 250 is completely normal. Anything over that is like a cause for concern. And they done my bloods, they done my D-dimer, and they were just saying that your D-dimer came back. Well, they said it came back negative, but I'm guessing that meant it came back low. And they were like, well, that's not right because you have the clot. Like, it'd be a miracle if the clot wasn't there. Like, this is why you get your appointments like within the year, because it takes the year. Like, it takes that long to get rid of them. And I was like, fair enough. So I was just like regurgitating all this back to my partner, like, yeah, it'll be a miracle. Like, she was saying this is why it takes so long. And the nurses are amazing, like so nice, like really keep me propped up with the teas and all that and the biscuits, like cracking, lovely people, like always up for a laugh. Like, although it seems like one of the last places that you'd be having a laugh, like always up like to have a good laugh and not having you sitting like pure miserable, which is exactly what I was needing because I was sat pure miserable. But I was just sort of regurgitating everything back that they were saying, that it would be rare if basically it was to be away. So in my mind I had already sort of cemented that it wasn't going to be away, and it basically, so I went away, came back, and I got my CT just because they were in two minds whether to give me the CT. Obviously it's a lot of radiation within 4 months to get, and it was just something that they didn't know if I wanted to do, and they had to make sure that I was fully comfortable taking on any risks that would come with the radiation, which I was more than happy to take on if it was going to cement in their minds that everything was okay. So we went back the next day to do the CT, which everything went fine. And we went in, which we went in for too long, which was great because I actually went in at like 9 one day and got out at 3, which doesn't seem that long, but for that unit, like that's quite long because they tend to get you in and out quite quickly. They're quite efficient. So that was quite a long time, but I went in and the pain that I was getting, so my pulmonary embolism in November was the left side, the pain I was getting was the right side. And they went in and said everything was clear, no signs of infection, which was amazing. It was exactly what I was hoping for, obviously. And then they were like, and your left side pulmonary embolism has resolved itself. And the only thing that I could say back to him was fuck off. And I literally just like stared at him with my mouth opened. And I was like, you're joking? And I was like pure shaking. And he was like, no, he was like, it's gone, like completely. And I basically was just staring at him like really intensely so I didn't cry. And he basically just explained that it had actually resolved itself, which, when it didn't resolve itself, me taking the medication and doing what they've told me to do has obviously helped in that. But it's gone. So that's some of the best news that I could have actually had. So I'd came out and I've still got my appointment in May to go see respiratory, but he said the likelihood of me getting off the blood thinners is quite high, which is amazing news. I didn't want to be on them for life. I was quite terrified to be on them for life. So that's amazing news. And I came out, my partner was in the waiting room and she kept trying to talk to me, but the waiting room was quite busy with people in it. And I kept saying to her, like I can't talk because I'm just going to burst into tears. And I'm like a pure sobber, I'm not quite a loud crier, so I'm like, I can't talk to you now because I'm just going to sit and sob. And we'd walked out a bit and she was like, is it bad news? And I was like, no, it's great news. And she was like, oh, is everything gone? And literally all I could say was, it's gone. And I nodded my head and burst into tears. And I literally just sat crying in the hospital. And I'm going to start crying now as well, but I think going in with the mindset of everything's like something's wrong and really worrying, because obviously dealing in November, going through that 6-week period of not even being able to walk myself, not being able to move, like I couldn't even lift my leg myself. I was in so much pain. And remembering it so clearly and thinking I'm going to need to do all that again, to then being told it's the complete opposite, you're not going to have to do it again and the clot's actually away, is a complete 180 to what I had expected and to what I had sort of cemented in my mind from what I was sort of being told. So it was the best news that I could have had, and I just kept saying to my partner the full day, like, I cannot believe it, like I cannot believe it. And then we phoned my partner's mum, and poor soul just sat and cried on the phone. Me and my partner just sat and cried in the hospital cuddling, like I was in bits. And then I phoned my boss and I came off the phone to her, started crying again. Like I've actually done nothing but cry, like we cried, I've actually done nothing but grieve. But I think I'm just so relieved that I'm okay, and that I think I was quite anxious at the thought of having to go back and do that recovery, because the recovery, I can't even describe how difficult it was to do it. And like when I describe it to other people, and like I'll say to them like that, like what I'm describing really doesn't give justice to the difficulty that it was, like to the full extent of what I dealt with, or and what my partner dealt with. It is the hardest thing I've ever went through. Like I had a really bad labour. Like it was the worst thing I have ever went through in my life, and I would not wish it on anybody. It is so difficult. But I'm so thankful that everything's okay. Everything's all cleared up. and I'm more likely going to spend the next couple of days continuing to cry because I'm so thankful that I'm okay. But I spent the full day yesterday on and off crying. I keep crying today as well, but it's I can only apologise that I've not been posting. I've had the craziest week. I've been just in and out of the hospital and dealing with lots of stuff, and then they asked me to like double my medication, which then put me dead close to like not having medication, so I've been running about trying to sort all that as well. And if I'm being honest, this was the absolute last thing that I had any interest in attempting to even update. Zero interest. I was more interested that I was going to be okay, but we are all okay, we're doing good. And I can't even say anything else. I'm just happy. I'm just relieved that I'm okay. But I hope yous are all doing okay. I hope yous are all doing fine. I hope you continue to push forward, my little muffins. And that is everything from me. I hope you have a nice day. Bye.